And we're back with another episode of Down with the Browns.
Down with the Browns, baby. Hey, everyone listening. I am the birthday boy today. It is my birthday, July 14th. I was born 1994. It feels great. I'm relaxing right now, as you can see for all the listeners. I have a nice little pillow around my neck. My shades are on. Have my healthy, fresh fruit. I'm doing really well.
Feet are in the air.
Yeah, I'm trying to get healthier these days at the age of 28. So it's my JOK year, 28.
It's your JOK year. I love
Are
it.
you feeling a-okay? Because
I'm
you're
feeling
JOK?
A-OK. They
Yeah,
they listen to us for the Browns, not clearly for my singing, but
Oh, yeah, they do. They 100% do.
Mhm.
But most people tune in for this one segment, and that is Breaking.
Breaking news.
That's right. This is Ed in Columbus with you down with the Browns. Breaking news. At Tuesday's Baker Mayfield introductory press conference, Carolina Panthers GM Scott Fitterer reiterated that even with the addition of Mayfield, the team will still have an open QB competition between Darnold and Baker. Sounds like a lose-lose battle in Charlotte, no matter who wins it. Also, Baker Mayfield said during the press conference that he has no animosity towards Cleveland. However, some Clevelanders will always look at Baker like the Grinch who stole Christmas. In this case, it was a non-adult who gave away Christmas in Green Bay. And finally, our own Manny Maxwell's birthday is today. So in honor of Manny, I have this piece of cheesecake, and it is Baker Mayfield approved. So happy birthday, Manny. This is Ed in Columbus with you down with the Browns. Breaking news.
That is actually so nice. I cannot believe you actually got a piece of cheesecake.
And it is Cheesecake Factory brand.
It's actually Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, he's going to ship it to you in the mail.
Yeah, please
As
do
you
that.
share a big
I actually do love cheesecake, so you know me well, Ed. I tell you what, it's co-host approved, that's for sure. Baker.
Well, here you go, Manny. Manny, you want a bite?
I'll take a bite through the screen.
Okay, here you go. It's good.
That's good. Wash it down with some
0 calorie
water
too.
Zero calorie. Wash it down with some water from my Down with the Browns mug.
You got that Browns juice over there. Got that
Mhm.
dog in him.
Got that dog in him.
But
Manny, before we start, because you want to make a wish?
Yes, I wish for the Browns to go 1-0 for the first time in 18 years.
Wish came true.
Yes,
It's already done.
Let's go.
you didn't wish for a
Already done.
Super Bowl?
Oh, I only get one wish.
Now we got to wait till you're 29, bro.
That's right.
We're okay. Ed, when's your birthday?
March 26th.
Oh wow.
Do you know when Mac's birthday is?
I'm not.
No, he just had
Mac
one.
just had one.
Yeah.
Mac just had a
I guess
birthday.
mine's the next one then.
Yeah.
Happy.
Where?
Oh yeah.
He is
Yeah,
on
thank you.
assignment. He will be back on Monday.
Mac
He
will be back.
He's
Mac
just
will
on
be
assignment.
back.
Return of the Mac.
Yes.
Return
It's
of
gonna be Return of the Mac on Monday, which is gonna be awesome. We're gonna talk to defensive line on Monday, which is his favorite subject. So Brandon says, "Happy birthday, Manny, the future Cavs fan." Listen, that is not.
That's 100% factual.
No, let's go.
He will-
Bleed green all day. Work for 18 rings.
Let him know. Let him know. All right, so we're just gonna get right into it. Our position of this episode is none other than the wide receiving core. So we can go from top to bottom. We got wide receiver 1, Amari Cooper, who's a dog. We got him via a trade, even like before free agency even started. And that's when everybody started going crazy. Like, oh, the Browns ain't really going to get Amari Cooper. Fifth round pick got him. He's a Brown.
Mhm.
We're number 2. And, he wasn't healthy for most of the season last year, but he still put up some decent stats. He had 68 receptions, 865 yards, 8 tutties. He averaged 12.7 yards per catch and only had 3 drops on 99 targets.
Absolutely. And first and foremost, I am wearing a Jarvis Landry jersey because 1, it's a wide receiver episode, and 2, he's one of my favorite wide receivers that have ever played in the brown and orange. I do want to talk about Amari Cooper right now. I think a lot of people have been downplaying this acquisition as of late, just because it feels like, doesn't it feel like a year ago that we got him on the Browns? It feels like so long ago. But again, 6'1", 210 pounds. He's known for his route running. And this is something that I really, really wanted for the Cleveland Browns, is somebody who is sure-handed, but a really good route runner. I think he's going to pair up with Deshaun Watson very well once we found the news for him, Deshaun Watson or Jacoby Brissett, really, for that matter. I think that he's going to be able to really open up our offense in ways that we haven't seen last year, just because of the inconsistencies of injuries and, people. Obviously, Landry was playing hurt, and for the time that we had OBJ, which also seems like 2-3 years ago, but he was also injured. I mean, and DPJ was thrown into the wide receiver 1 role a little bit too early. We'll talk about DPJ a little bit later, but I kind of want to hear what you have to say, Ed, about the acquisition of Amari Cooper. How'd you feel when he came here, and what are your thoughts about him moving forward for the season?
Well, I'm in the land of Columbus, Ohio, and there's a school named the Ohio State University, and what we turn out is wide receivers and that run smooth routes. What I like about Amari Cooper, I know he's a Alabama guy, but Bama. You know what he does? Like you said, man, he runs smooth, precise routes. And even last year when he had a supposed down year, and I got to give a shout out to my Barking Browns partner, Nick Carnes, because he brought this up many times, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this point. That Amari Cooper's down year last year was 8 touchdowns, and that was still one more than all the Browns wide receivers put together, who only had 7. Yeah. So you bring in a guy like that runs good routes, especially with a Kevin Stefanski system where, he made Kirk Cousins kind of look good. Mm-hmm. So you give Deshaun Watson, who's an elite quarterback, the kind of no, I'm talking about. I'm just saying with Deshaun being. Gotcha. Yeah, but hey, I have no problem. Dak Prescott would look good under Stefanski as well. But yeah. But no, the point with Amari Cooper is he's smooth. He's the kind of receiver that a quarterback needs to have on the field, because he isn't going to freelance. He's going to be where he needs to be. And like I said, he's cool like the other side of the pillow. So welcome to Cleveland, Amari Cooper.
Do you think that, going back to some of the obviously Amari Cooper played with some pretty talented wide receivers last year in Dallas, right? Your Michael Gallup and your CD Lambs, it just popped into my head right now. Mm-hmm. Would you be a little bit concerned in saying that obviously the 8 tutties is great, the 865 yards is fantastic, but would you be a little bit concerned saying that maybe he's a product of his environment and only got those yards and tutties because of who he's playing with?
No. I mean, he's been doing this since Bama. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Go look at his quarterback. You know that? I think it was Jake Coker and AJ McCarron.
AJ McCarron, yeah.
So I mean, he put up Heisman numbers. He was in the top 3, I believe, that year. So
he's putting in work in Oakland as well.
Yeah, he was doing it with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
You know what I like about him? The fact is, what does he get paid $20 million a year? And we're like, oh, that's a lot for the production of Amari Cooper. Then you see these wide receivers getting paid $30 million, and you see it go up and escalate the way that it did.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper's looking like a bargain right now, isn't he?
No, for sure. I mean, after what was his name? Christian Kirk went to the Jags on that huge deal. I was like,
yeah,
because we were talking about getting him on like a $12 million deal. We're like, we'll overpay for him, get him for 12, and he goes there for like 20. I'm like,
I was really surprised that, I mean, not to go on a tangent, but I was so surprised that the Jaguars gave Christian Kirk that much money. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do though.
Well, I mean, let's be real. They're like Cleveland was a couple years ago. You had to overpay mid-grade talent to get it to even come. So
that's very true. So shout out to Amari Cooper. So glad to have him on the Browns. Yeah. And I remember him coming out of the draft in 2015. He was a first round, 4th overall pick out of Alabama, like you guys have been saying. And it's gonna be really exciting to see a number 2 flying around. That's not Johnny Manziel. it's gonna be Money Manziel. It's gonna be so awesome to see Amari Cooper.
He's the complete opposite.
It's complete opposite of Johnny Manziel. So it's going to be so awesome. I might have to invest in a Amari Cooper jersey, because I need some jerseys right now. To support. So
I like him because he fits in with the culture. You got Nick Chubb, who doesn't. He's a man of just actions and few words.
Yes.
And I believe Amari
It's-
Cooper is kind of like the same kind of cat. Like, he lets his play on the field do the talking, and he's not, and that's kind of nice and refreshing from what we've had. Like, I love the Cleveland Browns. I love the drama. I always say that, and I really mean it. It is entertainment.
Yeah.
But isn't it nice to just have, when you wake up on Sunday, you got guys that during the week they put in the work, that they're going to go out and get it done, because that's the only thing that they were focused on, and it wasn't all this other TMZ drama. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting the wins, and that's going to be the drama when the NFL and the rest of the fan bases around the league can't stand it when Cleveland's winning, and that's that's gonna be fun.
Well, I mean, you finally got that team that took the motto, no bark, all bot.
Yeah.
So I mean, like all these guys, like, I mean, a couple years ago, like, I mean, you'd always see the hot videos and all that, and like you've really not seen. I mean, you got a couple guys. I mean, I've seen like little JOK video here and there, little Miles video, and Jacob Phillips here and there. But like, it's not like every other day. Like when we had OBJ and Baker, they're all having those little hot videos. You're like, yeah, we're gonna win a Super Bowl, yeah. Like, but
And
you want to see Amari Cooper in a Drake video?
Yeah.
No, that's right. That's right. Odell Beckham was in the for all the listeners who don't know, Odell Beckham was in the Laugh Now, Cry Later music video by Drake, out there repping the Browns, had a Browns t-shirt on, but I'd much rather have you playing on the field rather than playing in music videos, and so it's going to be great to have Amari in there, and contractually for Amari Cooper, right? He's 28 years old right now, making $1.1 million for this season, upcoming season, and then the next two is going to be $20 million. So Andrew Berry likes to backload those contracts, and we're going to see something very interesting happen. I'm sure some restructuring in the future for his contract as well.
Oh yeah, and there's one guy that we're gonna have to like restructure his contract for another like 2 years, and that's our wide receiver too, DPJ.
Donovan People-Jones. You want to start with him, Ed? Go ahead. You want to start with DPJ?
Well, since he
go ahead. Go start with 11.
He comes from the team up north. And here's the thing about Donovan Peoples-Jones. You got him in the 6th round. So I think if people need to chill a little bit with, how he's progressing, because we got in the 6th round. What are you really expecting? We're expecting these crazy, lofty goals, and that's fine. And I think he can get there. And he's shown a lot of promise. And I like a lot of things that he can do. But I remember the Baltimore game, the Sunday night game, when Baker actually threw a nice pass, one of few that he threw all year, and he dropped it. And I felt after that, sometimes his confidence goes down. And the thing about once again, to go back to this Ohio State Michigan thing, like Ohio State receivers have sure hands. It goes back to Chris Carter, Terry Glenn. I mean, Ohio State has a reputation of having wide receivers not only be physical, but they can catch the football. And in Michigan, it seems lately with Braylon Edwards, as we found out in 2000, they got a case of the dropsies. These Michigan wide receivers, and they're freak athletes, and they do a lot of great things. I just hope that he can overcome that, because nothing's more frustrating than killing a drive on it's 3rd and 15. Your quarterback goes back, throws a beautiful ball. It should be a first down, but he drops it. Then you get the punt unit out, and it's so deflating and demoralizing. And so PJ, if he holds on to the football, sky's the limit for him, because he's very talented.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully he's not getting the ball thrown to him in triple coverage this year.
Yeah, right. I think that's so true. Honestly, like you were saying, Ed, that's actually a really good point, because I didn't think about that. Sometimes I'm a little bit too hard on Donovan Peoples-Jones and DPJ. But when you bring up the fact that he was a 6th round pick, right? I think it was 187 overall. He's exceeded that, right? I would say, can we say that?
For sure.
He's exceeded where we got him at. And for us to be able to potentially, for a couple of games, throw him into that wide receiver 1 role. Did he exceed expectations there, and just did he do what we wanted him to do? No, but he was a 6th round pick.
Well, I mean, going into the year, he wasn't even supposed to be wide receiver 3. He was supposed to be wide receiver 4, and he ended up as wide receiver 1, because, I mean, it was supposed to go Odell, Jarvis, Hollywood Higgins, and then him.
Yeah.
And then Schwartz, and I mean, so on and so forth.
And you move down the list that way. And with injuries and just for whatever reason, the Browns didn't utilize Hollywood Higgins like I thought they would the entire season. I don't know,
They never rolled out the red carpet for him.
They never rolled out the red carpet.
It's so weird he had to be like something in practice because like there was
Something.
no way.
Something.
Like even like going back to I believe the Lions game, he didn't play, and like we didn't have anybody. Jarvis was hurt. He played, but he was hurt. And then we had DPJ. No, DPJ didn't even play that game either. So at one point you had Jamarcus Bradley is like wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
So like he had to either be lazy or he just didn't put in like just showed up real late to everything.
And I whatever the case may be, I know people obviously for the Carolina Panthers were doing their. I know Browns fans are annoyed of these two words, but they were doing their due diligence about Rashard Higgins, and so obviously there's something that they heard or they saw that they were like, let's bring it in. Whether they brought him in with the intent anticipation that they were going to bring in Baker Mayfield, that's something that's been floating around in the atmosphere. But honestly, for DPJ again. What is he? 34 catches on 58 targets last year. We had a couple of drops, but again, like you're talking about, Christian, a lot of those balls were into double, triple coverage. So I would like to see a little bit more progression from him, obviously, but that's because he was so good in the flashes that we did see, right? I think that he's just more of a we're kind of holding him to a higher standard because he played at a higher standard. He played like a second, third round wide receiver. Yeah. So that's just unfortunate.
Well, the Arizona game, man, he had 2 like really great touchdown catches. Like the one at the halftime. Dude, that was insane. And then like going to the Cincinnati
and he
game.
caught that ball with his hands too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That's what I want to see from DPJ. He was aggressive and he just snatched that ball and it's like, it's mine. That's what he needs to do.
It is those fingertips. It's okay if you guys don't know the answer, but I'm curious, and I could look this up during the show or a post show. But are there actual like hand exercises that wide receivers do to get their hands stronger? Is it one of those hand grip things? You know what I'm talking about? One of those.
Yeah, I think.
I figured it would like when you know how like they'll throw them that little ball and they'll catch it. And,
get the little tennis ball. That I don't know if that's more the tennis ball. Just I don't know if that's
like
more
focus or
focus or whatever. But I would love to see kind of one of those things that the wide receivers are working on. But like you're saying, at those hands, he was really strong hands, and that's something that I want to see this year for sure from DPJ. Oh man, sure-handedness.
Yeah. And he did awesome in the yards per catch department though. Like when he was getting the ball, he was taking it like extra yardage and stuff. But he would average 17.6 yards per catch. He had his PFF grade wasn't the best. I'll look those up. He had a 65.7 overall and a 67 receiving grade. But I think that has to do with when you catch 34 passes on 58 targets and only 4 of them are drops, I don't think necessarily that's all your fault. But I'm not gonna sit here and blame 6 for all the mistakes last year. But
Christian, I'll take a bite of cheesecake for that because for what you're trying to say, but you're not saying it. I think I'll say it for you with this bite.
Take a bite of cheesecake and then it's enough said.
Yeah. And, we've also got this young buck coming in from Purdue. I'm going to be wearing that number 18. It's that boy who's going to be catching some tutties this year. He's going to be ringing the bell in David Bell. He's going to be ringing it.
I am really excited for David Bell. Indiana's 2018 going to be a monster. Indiana's 2018 Gatorade Player of the Year. He was projected to be somewhere in the 5th and 6th round via NFL.com. But so I think getting him in, I think a lot of us Browns fans, what we've been hearing whispers of, we've been saying he is the mini or the second coming of Jarvis Landry, just younger, right? He's a very, very smooth off the line, off the jump. A very good, also a very good route runner, very quick with his hands. So I'm going to be very interested to see how he maneuvers through the slot position, because I think that's where we're going to be using him predominantly. Just because at Purdue, I was talking about this all last couple of episodes ago, and then I'll digress and give it to Ed. I've been talking so much about the fact that I like wide receivers who, when you're playing on their team, that he's the star of their offense. And when you were playing Purdue, who they're going to. It's David Bell. And when you're attracting all of that attention, but yet you're still getting the yards and the production out of a guy, that's what I like to see, because you already have that pressure on him. And he's not going to be, like we're just talking about, in order. He's not going to be wide receiver 1 anymore, or wide receiver 2. He's technically wide receiver 3. So we might be able to see him bud with consistent quarterback play, because all of this really kind of teeters on quarterback play. You didn't see the trend yet. What do you think, Ed? What do you think about David Bell?
All right, so here's the deal. So the Cleveland Browns, since they came back in '99, there's been a lot of talk from some of the reporters that say they would go to Berea, and they'd say when they're practicing, they've never seen so many balls hit the field. Well, when you're playing, catch, the ball's not supposed to hit the ground, and that's what it's been doing. But I hear David Bell. I hear he doesn't drop a lot of balls. And Amari Cooper with his route running. I think David, and I've said this multiple times. I'm going to say it again. The Cleveland Browns offense will be predicated upon a rookie in David Bell. If he is as good as advertised, which I think he's silky smooth, he's silky fine, and he's Manny knows what I'm talking about. He's gonna get this offense going to even a higher and a better direction, because what I like about him, they always say, "Oh, we don't get the separation." I've never seen a guy that can catch the ball as great as he does, because it never hits the ground. Never once has it hit the ground with him. Never. But he's always got like a defender draped on him, but he still makes the catch. And so, people are like, oh, he doesn't get separation. I don't know. I like wide receivers that catch the ball. I mean, you got all these. Some of these wide receivers, they get open, and like even T.O. sometimes he get open, but he don't catch the ball. I don't care. I'd rather have a guy draped on him, but he catches the ball.
Yeah,
we'll deal with it afterwards, right?
We have been punished with guys like that in the league. Roger Dodger, what's up? Roger Dodger says, "Hey guys, what's up? How we doing? We've seen guys like that, right? It's those Hines Ward, annoying ones. These Wes Welkers, these Julian Edelmans, these weird guys who are just not afraid of Jarvis Landry of some sorts.
Yep.
In coverage, draped, and that's something that we've been seeing from David Bell a lot. He's very agile. He's not afraid to cut into the teeth of the defense and still make a catch. Yep. It's brutal AFC North football. You're seeing what the Baltimore Ravens are doing, getting Kyle Hamilton. Their secondary has been crazy. I think not the CEOs, but the top executives in the NFL voted the Baltimore Ravens. I think it was either top 3. I'm going to say top 3 because I know that was for sure. Best secondary in the NFL. And it's AFC North. It gets cold, like you were talking about last episode, Ed. It gets real frigid out here in these parts. No one has a retractable dome yet. So when you're in these tough situations and you're a wide receiver and you're taking big hits, you want guys who are going to be sure-handed.
Yes.
Sure-handed. So you really need that.
Yeah. I agree.
And I'm going to one-up you on the Jarvis Landry comparison. David Bell reminds me more of an Anquan Bolden.
Oh,
that's who he reminds.
We ain't mad about that.
We're not mad about. We know a lot about Anquan Bolden from Baltimore. We know about him.
He's real underrated. You go back to the days in with Arizona
too,
bro. I think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers of all time.
Yeah, because you had Larry Fitzgerald, who was a deep threat, right? But then you had Anquan Bolden, who was that tough guy. We'll talk about tough. We need that, Christian. I like
he
that.
Got that. Yeah. He got that dog in him, and I see that in David Bell. I see that because, you go back to his stats at Purdue last year. He had 93 receptions, 1,286 yards. That equals to 13.8 yards per catch with 6 tutties. PFF grades off the charts, 87.5 overall, 87.4 on the receiving end of it. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think I hope we did get him in the 3rd round, 35th overall pick. Wait, fourth. I think I have.
No. You're right.
Yeah, I have him in the 3rd. I have him in the 3rd. And like I said before, he was projected 5th or 6th. So obviously the Browns got their guy. They wanted somebody, and they went after him. Injuries were a little bit of a concern, and I know people were talking about another concern that he's a little bit light during his route running, which means he's able to be bounced off track. I don't know if that's a weight room thing. I don't know if that's a balance thing that they need to work on, but I'm going to be really interested to see how the weight room, the strength and conditioning team is able to combat some of those concerns. But, 4.65 40-yard dash, and everybody was talking about how that wasn't as fast as they thought they wanted him to be. But hey, listen, Jarvis Landry isn't the most blow-away speed, Tyreek Hill kind of guy. We just need that. I love when Ed was talking about that kind of sure-handedness in traffic.
Mhm.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
And,
Huge.
I mean, Ed remembers David Bell pretty good from the season, correct?
Mm.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Ed. Why is that? Why would you know of Ed? I mean, why would you know David Bell?
I really don't
Didn't he
know.
go off against Ohio State?
I think it was. Didn't he? I think it was in his junior. I think it was his name.
I think he played in the.
I thought he had like 200 some yards against you guys.
We don't want to talk about it.
We don't.
Ah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
He's like,
Because
"Oh,
I know
no,
he had like
no."
200 yards against you guys. He had like 200 yards against a couple people.
I was playing
Yeah,
pops.
he was a Big Ten conference player. The Big Ten conference player of the year.
I didn't want to.
Receiver of the year.
It's okay.
So, you know,
Yeah,
We didn't want to
sometimes
talk about
You,
that.
We don't
just
wanna
got,
talk- we don't
you got to hype up your guys, you know. I didn't want to talk about Martin Emerson lighting up Wandell last week.
that's true. That's
But,
true.
Or earlier this week. But we
Christian-
had-
You weren't afraid to go into the depths.
I had to.
And maybe I know you guys. I haven't been on the show that long, but I think you guys know me by now. I love me some me, and I'm not the first to admit when I or just say things that I don't exactly like. It takes me a little longer. You know, I don't eat the humble pie, but I will eat the cheesecake from the cheesecake factory.
Take another bite, Ed. Take another bite. Which I will. I do want to rattle off some of the last season's for the Blaketon-Koff Award finalist. He grabbed 96 for David Bell at Purdue, 93 receptions for 1,286 yards, 13.8 per catch, and 6 scores. So it's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be really interesting to see how he fits
And
into
those-
I know. I'm not doing it. I'm not saying it. You want
Yep.
to go ahead.
I'm not saying anything. All right, we'll go to we're gonna move
Not
on to the
gonna
next receiver. We're gonna go to the guy I think that's gonna get a decent step up from his all right year.
Who Christian? Who was?
Uh,
Come on.
You know, it's Anthony Schwartz. I think he's gonna. I hope and pray he becomes what I think he can be, and be a good, solid either wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 that can take the top off of a defense.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of be like a McCole Hardman for us. That's kind of
Mhm.
what I want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, stats are atrocious. I've seen receivers with more yards in a game. He had 10 receptions, 135 and 1 touchdown. PFF grades are not great at all. 63.7 overall, 61.4 rushing and receiving, and his rushing PFF grade was actually higher. It was a 69 noise 0.8. So
You know what I was really excited about last season? Week 1 at Kansas City.
yeah,
There was a guy in naming who we're talking about. Anthony Schwartz had a beautiful game. 3 receptions, 69 yards that we talked about. But then he had this really beautiful 44-yard catch. To me, I was like, wow, because he was our deep threat kind of guy. Now, you could, I don't know, I was in a Twitter space where someone brought up a defense for Anthony Schwartz in stating that the reason he fell off after that game was because Baker Mayfield was hurt and injured week 2 versus the Houston Texans, trying to defend a block and, basically tore his labrum.
Yep.
And so there goes Anthony Schwartz, which, I mean, if you want to make that case, you possibly can, because everyone, I guess, was infected by that, including Baker. But to digress about Baker, take another bite of cheesecake, Ed. Yeah, there you go. So I think that it's really important to realize for Anthony Schwartz that, hey, we saw seriously flashes, shout out to his Twitter name, but Anthony Flash. But I think it's just seeing flashes for one game was just crazy. So I don't know, Ed. What do you think about Anthony Schwartz?
Here's the thing. We were getting on DPJ. He's a 6th-round pick. Anthony Schwartz was a 3rd-round pick. It's okay for us to have, high expectations for him. I think he's going to have a great year this year. And I don't know great. I say if he can get 500 to 600 yards and be that deep overall threat that over the top that he can be. Look, I don't think he's gotten any slower. I mean, the kid's a burner. He always will be.
Track star.
And I think with Deshaun Watson, I mean, he's going to look at that guy and guy's wide open. And Deshaun's 70% accurate with his passes. So he won't underthrow. He throws, actually to the person when they're actually on the run and in their hands.
And not in triple
So
coverage.
I think Schwartz is going to have a nice breakout year for him, and expect big things from him. And he also loves Cedar Point. He's a big roller coaster enthusiast. I love roller coasters. I love Cedar Point, and Anthony Schwartz in Cleveland's a good deal, I think.
I think it's going to be. I mean, I don't want to beat down this point, but I do believe having comparable quarterback play.
Manny,
just to make some throws.
Manny, I'm going to.
You're gonna, yeah.
Well,
Ed, I feel like I'm gonna make you finish this.
You're going
cheesecake
to.
before the show, because I feel like some of the throws, obviously you want to point at
Am I good?
wide receivers they should be catching because
Okay.
OBJ dropped that fourth down ball. I forgot it was kind of some of the route running, some of the catching, some of the drop balls, completely understandable. But I just think that some of the throws, if they were in the right place or not overthrown and things like that, I think that could help out wide receivers. Just
every
give them
time you're going to bash, or a former quarterback, I'm just going to keep eating.
Let's make that another. That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was talking about. Let's say every time after this episode, every time we mention Baker Mayfield, we got to eat how Slavin people do the drinking games. We got to eat a piece of cheesecake.
Fair enough.
We do.
That's
do.
our. That's
If it comes.
We're going to
comes
be
up.
huge before the season starts.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna be huge.
Literally,
Our stomachs are gonna be huge.
Gonna have to be hitting the gym, Ed.
Is there, and before we move on to another wide receiver, as we're going through this, is there do you think that we need to bring someone else in?
Yes, 100%.
Who off the top of your head would you like to see, be brought in?
Go ahead, Christian. You got this. I know you want to
One
talk
guy
about this.
I think that we should sign. Well, there's actually two. One of them I think would be a little bit easier to sign, easier to plug in and hit the road running. And I think that guy is Emmanuel Sanders. You go back, look at what he did last year with the Buffalo Bills. He was a dog, very underrated. He's very skilled. He has a Super Bowl championship experience. And I love that. I want that in Cleveland so bad. I want more Super Bowl experience. Because when you get to the big game, you got to have people that's been there.
Mhm.
It's you don't want people over antsy and, getting jittery. Oh, man, we're in the Super Bowl. You want them guys are nah, this is like another game. This is just another Sunday out there playing. And
Emmanuel Sanders from Buffalo, good with that cold weather too. So you want
He's a dog.
Good point.
I mean, he played in Pittsburgh
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows the North. He knows how it is. I mean, I want one more receiver. I know we're real high on DPJ. We're real high on David Bell. And a lot of people don't want us to get another receiver like that because they think that's going to take away snaps from DPJ and David Bell. But last year, I want as many receivers as possible, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean-
If anyone felt that wide receiver gap, it's kind of akin to the Baltimore Ravens and that gap they felt in that running back room, and they had to pick up Le'Veon Bell last year. So I think, you already saw how that kind of panned out for them. But, how thin we were at wide receiver last year, it does give you cause to pause when it comes to the thought of it, just about bringing in another guy. A sure-handed, whether it be a veteran or whatever, but you still have a lot of players out there like your obviously there's some listeners are probably saying in their head, what about the Julio Joneses? What about the Odell Beckham still out there? What about the Will Fullers, the Cole Beasleys? Is there or do you want to put down some of those ideas really quickly? I know if Mac was here, he would put down OBJ for sure. But
No,
is there anybody?
he would want a defensive lineman.
He would want a defensive line. Yeah, he's he'd be comfortable with the wide
I
receiver.
mean, we do need another defense line. Anyways, but yeah, I think we need one more receiver. I think we'll end up getting another lower end. I don't know if we'll get because we'll need camp bodies.
Right, and especially I was really upset when you see the Christian Kirks obviously go to Jacksonville for 4 years, $72 million. The Zay Jones, the Allen Robinsons, your Cedric Wilsons, and even DJ Shark going to Detroit, right, for 1 year, $10 million. Yeah, we all wanted a lot of people in Cleveland, and it's just really unfortunate how it's looking right now because obviously. You just have T.Y. Hilton out there and Deshaun Jackson if you really want to know the guy. So.
That was another guy I was going to say is T.Y. Hilton because I think he could fit that little slot role too. And I think he's still got it in him. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got
I
the
mean, at 32
speed.
years old,
I mean, he's
Ed,
a
is
little
there-
older.
Yeah, 32 is a little bit older, but hey, it wouldn't hurt to get a little bit of veteran leadership.
Well, I think that his style of play would help out Anthony Schwartz.
That's true. Ed, is there anybody of any of those names that kind of pop out to you that's available?
I love all of them, but here's what I would say. I would say, look, Mr. Deshaun Watson, who do you like the best? Because look, I think Will Fuller's the answer. I mean, he's got chemistry with him. The guy can go over the top. I don't know. You name all these names. I like Sanders. I think that's a great one. I like the experience and everything you said there. But just get him Will Fuller. Get him some familiarity.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? The comfort level of Will Fuller and Deshaun Watson. I've seen them do great things on the football field, and I would love them to do it on the Lake Shore in Cleveland.
And he's one of the youngest out of all the.
I know
wide
that's enough. I know
receivers.
he's hurt. I know he's got. Some
He's
issues,
hurt a
but
lot.
Yeah.
He's 20.
But I mean, with Jadeveon Clowney too, that was his knock.
Yeah.
Huge injury history. And did he miss a game last year? Maybe one.
I think he missed the COVID game.
Oh yeah, he's out for the COVID game. But
And I think he had some other injury problems, but it wasn't anything that like really deteriorated from playing. But also another good thing that you're talking about, those injuries with Will Fuller. I mean, hey, you have a good wide receiver room if you bring in Will Fuller, and you can just tell him, hey, you don't have to play every single down. You know what I mean? You don't have to play a lot. We just need you out there for some familiarity. You know, you have Deshaun, you have 60 days to understand the playbook. Season's right around the corner, so it's just kind of like you got the 6 years of experience. Go out there and play some football with your old buddy Deshaun. So. I like Will Fuller at this point if we wanted to bring somebody in.
Yeah. And, there's another guy that this offseason that we did sign that you don't really hear much about because, I mean, he's not the big name receiver, but he's one of our earlier receivers we got, and that's Jakeem Grant. I think he was more brought in for, like, special teams, and he's an absolute dog on special teams. And we actually need that a lot, but I'm not going to get too far into the special teams part of him. But his stats last year, real similar to Anthony Schwartz on the receiving end. He had 11 receptions, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. PFF grades are about identical.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I accidentally read Jakeem Grant's PFF stats for Anthony Schwartz. Let me go back and tell you Anthony Schwartz's actual PFF grades. His actual PFF grades are 57.4 overall, 56.7 receiving, and 63.9. Right.
Definitely nothing that I'm going to woohoo or blow that little happy birthday whistle.
Oh.
I'm not going to. There you go. I'm not going to do that at those stats. But go ahead, Ed. You want to talk about good?
It's all I want to say about Jakeem Grant and when even Schwartz, since we got them intertangled with each other. I want to see this. What about a double reverse with those two guys? Because then you got the fake. You got Schwartz coming around. You think he's gonna pitch it to him, but he doesn't, or he does pitch it to him. Because the Cleveland Browns, one thing they knew how to do, they know how to block. They got good blockers, and you get that speed on the field. So I mean, I don't know. I know their PFF grades and everything like that aren't the best, but you get a elite quarterback. You get healthy, Kareem Hunt back. I mean, this offense has got so. And Njoku's now your number one tight end. Finally putting the Cadillac on the field, and let's roll with that. It's going to be fun, and I just think I got the need for speed. Going back to the old Top Gun reference, what I'm saying right there. So let's rock and roll like that way, like Cleveland knows how to do. And I'm always we'll talk about defense and other positions, but Cleveland's we always talk about getting players in Cleveland. The one thing Cleveland's been missing since 1999 is other teams were just faster at all the different positions. It seemed like on the field they were just faster, and I don't think that's the case anymore. And I can't wait that we exploit other teams' slow defensive players like we've been getting exploited since '99.
And you talk about those sweeps and those reverses. And I remember 2 years ago, Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, a jet sweep, right? Well, you had Odell Beckham. You had Odell Beckham in the corner. Just come around. I can imagine myself some Jakeem Grant doing the same thing. flying around the field, looking like the Oregon offensive of 2010s and 2012s. You know what I mean? I can see adding some speed to the Cleveland Browns, because everyone just thinks we're just some ground and pound team or we're just some boring team. Because when we were on national television on Thursday night for the Denver Broncos, we literally just ran the ball with De'Ernest Johnson the entire time. So that can be a little bit boring for people who are watching on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something right now. If you get a little bit of speed in there,
Speed is sexy.
Speed is sexy. People like sexy. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at the Chiefs and they say, "Ooh, it's so
they'll be like Cleveland Browns. Hey now.
Hey now." They're going to say, the Cleveland. Hey now. Browns. That's you're right. You know what I mean? So I obviously Jakeem Grant was not brought in here to be a number one wide receiver, right? But he is listed as a wide receiver on ESPN on the depth chart for the Cleveland Browns because you got to put him somewhere. But he's going to be one of our kind of like firecracker kind of guys in the special teams. But we won't go too much into special teams because we will be focusing on that in a future episode. But Jakeem Grant, welcome to the squad.
For sure. And, there's another guy that's pretty new to the squad. He is actually one of our later round picks. Coming in from that place you just came from, Manny. Oklahoma.
Yes.
And Michael Woods. Or Michael Wood or whatever. Same thing. I don't know if there's an S on there or not. He didn't have the greatest of years. He had 35 catches, 400 yards, 2 tutties. PFF grade at 70.4, and then his receiving grade was a 70.2. So take that how you want to. But he was pretty solid at Arkansas because last year was his first year, and yeah. That's all I really know about him.
I don't.
Yeah, well, he played a little bit of some ball as well. At Oklahoma, obviously with the Sooners, he's 6'1". Hometown. Shout out to Magnolia, Texas. Magnolia, not Chip and Joanna Gaines. Magnolia. Target. My wife loves Target. Shout out to Chip and Joanna Gaines. But I don't know exactly what we're expecting. He's a later round pick, but also DPJ was a later round pick. So I don't want to knock later round picks because we don't know exactly what we can get out of them. But I think that this is just kind of all right, we have a guy on a rookie contract, bring him in for some cheap money. We know that Andrew Berry likes to kind of do that where you overlap. You have somebody in an extension, you have somebody admitted their rookie deal, and then you have somebody who's starting off their rookie deal at each position, kind of likes to flip that around like that. So I would like to see exactly what kind of skill set he has on the NFL level when it comes to preseason. I know we only have, I think it's 3 preseason games. They cut it down to 3. So a lot of those preseason, a lot of those training camps, you're going to see a lot of news come out about Mike Woods the third. It's the second. I'm not sure if he likes to be called Michael Woods the second. Mike Woods. We'll find out exactly. So it'll be really interesting to see how he navigates his way through this offense.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on him, Ed?
I don't really. I'm with Christian. I mean, everything you just said, I believe it. Yeah. I really haven't seen it. I had no idea who the kid was. Even after we drafted him, yeah. I still don't know who he is, and maybe that's a good thing. Yeah. There's something. Here's the thing: Andrew Berry obviously drafted him for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, honestly. I don't think a lot of people really do when you look at him compared to other wide receivers because, but at the same time, I don't know. I trust Andrew Berry and maybe the kid, look, catch the football. Look, all he's got to do is go out there and catch the football.
Yes.
Everything as a wide receiver takes care of itself once you catch the football. And if he can do that, which I think he I don't know what his drop percentage was. I think it was pretty low. So just catch the football and maybe you'll make the team.
Yeah, let's score some points, get some
yards.
Yeah, all you can ask.
Yeah. Is he related to Tiger Woods?
I don't know. That's a good question. We gotta find this out.
We got somebody. We got somebody related to Oprah. He's not really
right.
We'll say it. And then Tiger Woods.
Makes sense to me.
There's another receiver. He wasn't drafted, but he was an unrestricted free agent or whatever they call that thing. Yeah, after the draft. It's Isaiah Weston.
Undrafted.
Can't remember this. Yeah, undrafted free agent. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I was like, I don't think I said that right. Anyways, he actually had a pretty productive year last year. He had 37 receptions, 883 yards with a 23.9 yards per catch. Yeah, that's pretty insane. And he had 5 touchdown catches. I believe he's like 6'4",
Yes.
2 something. He's a big body. I know Mac's really high on this kid. Like real
Isn't
high.
the knock on him that isn't he older for the guardrails or something?
Yes, he's 24.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't
He's
drafted.
24
Okay.
years old. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get drafted. I mean, his PFF grades weren't like insane or insanely low, but his overall was a 69.3 and receiving was a 71.
Yeah, a lot of the notes on him was he's extremely fast. He's extremely flexible. He has an extremely long catch radius as well, being 6'4" with those really long arms. He's 214 pounds. A bigger wide receiver. Obviously, if you're coming on the Cleveland Browns, he's a bigger wide receiver compared to all the other ones. One of the knocks on him from Northern Iowa was that he had a pretty high career drop rate. But when it comes to facing FCS cornerbacks, he would blow them away. A lot of the other problems with him, just the concerns with him, really is how are you going to do that against NFL competition? Like you didn't, you know what I mean? It's not FBS opponents, it's not D1. So where does that exactly fit in when it comes to playing wide receiver against NFL talent? Now, there's a lot of famous Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers that came from smaller colleges. You got your Cooper Kupps, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss from Marshall. So wide receiver, I don't really want to knock too much when you're coming from a smaller school.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to be had. So sometimes, one of the notes that I have here too, as one of the weaknesses, might need additional time to clear press corners. But honestly, he's a bigger body guy. So I think that he's going to be a very long guy compared to NFL proportions when you're talking about cornerbacks and things like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he fits into this offense. But go ahead, Ed.
I was just looking at
dancing around.
I'm
It's
like,
a dance party.
Manny, this is like school. You're the teacher, and Christian and I were fooling around in back. And I got caught.
we do this all the time.
I got caught. I got nothing.
When you're called and you're like, well, I don't know.
Oh, I know what I wanted to do.
Cheesecake.
Take a bite of cheesecake. Take a bite of cheesecake. Listen, again, Michael Woods, Isaiah Weston. I love what Ed said. Plain and simple. 3 words. Catch the ball. Catch the ball.
Good ball.
Catch the ball. That's what we brought you in here to do. Catch the ball. You're on cheaper contracts, especially being an undrafted free agent when it comes to Isaiah Weston. Catch the ball. So going to be really interesting to see. A lot of preseason action for these guys.
So got to ask a question for you guys.
We got answers. You got questions.
All right.
We got
Do
answers.
you think Amari Cooper is going to be the best Browns receiver since Josh Gordon 2012 or 13, whatever year that was? I think it was 2012, but he had that insane year.
You know what?
13.
You know what? Man, so many questions this offseason since the acquisition of Deshaun Watson. My answer has been, how many games is Watson playing? If Watson is suspended for 10, 12 games, like we've previously heard, then no, Amari Cooper will not have that gigantic year. I'm putting it out there, right?
Yeah.
But if he's suspended for 4 games, yes, I do believe that Amari Cooper will have the biggest year since Josh Gordon.
See, I think that a lot of people are sleeping on Jacoby Brissett. I don't think he's no gunslinger. He ain't no Deshaun Watson.
He's not some scrub either.
He's not a scrub like a lot of people are acting like he is. What I think is going to happen, a lot of teams are going to be like, okay, we're going to stop the run. Because that's all Cleveland's going to do. Jacoby Brissett's going to do a little fake handoff. He's going to run. He's going to drop back. He's going to launch that bad boy. He got a decent arm. It's not too bad, man. So.
Well, you know what? I want to jump and I'm gonna eat a piece of cheesecake right here. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say, you know what, Christian? Because I know what answer you really want. I'm gonna say yes. And here's why. He's one of the most polished wide receivers that Cleveland's had since Josh Gordon, since '99, since everything like that. I think, to your point, Jacoby Brissett, they're gonna key up, stack the box, whatever, and then he's gonna do some little play action stuff. I think Amari Cooper. They always say he can't do this. He can't do this. I've seen highlights where he's caught a ball, then he juked out somebody, then he ran about 30 yards. I've never seen him get caught from behind. So he's got the speed and the routes that he runs, the diagonal routes that he kind of runs. He's like Manny was saying, he runs these kind of routes that he cuts through. He's kind of like David Bell. He cuts through that defense. He takes, unusual angles and things like that because he can beat his guy. And I just think that just opens it up. So to your point, Christian, yeah, he's gonna have a huge year for Mari Cooper. Don't sleep on him. If you can get him on your fantasy team, you're gonna have a successsual year.
So my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead, birthday boy. Go ahead.
Yeah, really quick, but the birthday boy. Shout out to the birthday boy, me. I love me some me today. Okay, I might buy Ed in Columbus shirt. Buy some merch, guys. Buy some merch. Is out there down with the Browns. Best merch in the game. Christian holding up his Kentucky Fried Christian T-shirt. That's awesome. Shout out. That's actually really cool. Is it comfortable, Christian?
Dude, it is so comfortable.
Awesome.
I got home like a little bit late. That's why the show kind of started about 10 minutes late. But I ripped this thing up as soon as I got in the house. I was like, "Yep, this is it." And I put it
That's
right on.
so sick. That new design is so sick.
Shout out to your little brother.
Yeah. Shout out to Liam Keel. He's awesome. That's my wife's little brother, so he's so cool.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he's only 10 years old. Yeah. So he's literally only 10 years old making those designs. So he's pretty impressive.
He got that dog in him.
He got that dog. He's down with the Browns.
He's down with the Browns.
His dad's a big Steelers fan. But anyway, speaking of the Steelers, you have the Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, and the Browns in the AFC North. Would it be a stretch to say that the Steelers have the second best wide receiver room in the AFC North?
Mm-mm.
I think that a lot of people would probably chime in and say Pittsburgh Steelers because of Claypool, Johnson, and now George Pickens, who got drafted into ski mask and basketball shorts. He may be a problem on the football field. So I'm terrified of that. But I'm confident in DPJ. I am. I think obviously Amari Cooper is better than everybody who the Steelers have currently. And DPJ, I mean, you can make the argument. I think he's better than Chase Claypool. I think he could potentially, with a good quarterback play, be better than Deontay Johnson. So I think. Yeah, listen, we'll put it on Twitter. We'll see what the people say. I'm a man of the people, so we'll put it on Twitter. Who has the second best wide receiver room in the AFC North? And I think it's the Cleveland Browns. I expect big things from DPJ. I know it's not Baltimore. As high as they are, try to be on James Prochet, Rashad Bateman, and Devin Duvernay. I know it's I can make an argument that it's the worst, but I think that the Browns have the second best wide receiver room in the AFC North.
See, the only thing that I think that Pittsburgh has on us is I think Deontay Johnson. I think that's his name.
Yeah, Deontay.
Yeah.
Worked on his hands.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be pretty good this year. I think he's underrated. A lot of people underrate him. He's still pretty solid. And Chase Claypool, I know we want to clown him a lot. He's actually a decent receiver. I wouldn't put him like top 10 or anything, but he's going to be pretty good for the Pittsburgh Steelers, depending on how the Trubisky and
Kenny Pickett situation.
Small hands.
Mini hands.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It kind of depends on how that quarterback play is in Pittsburgh. But
we all know about that.
Are you finished with the cheesecake? Is that your last bite? That last bite looked a little slim.
It's
oh.
He topped it off.
2 thumbs up from Ed. His mouth is a little full, but we not too full for that.
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a good point. I think obviously just like the way Deontay Johnson has worked in his hands with tennis ball drills in the offseason and things like that, because he was leading the league in drops the year prior before last year, and has really worked on his game. I think I expect the same from DPJ.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think that if we get like an Emmanuel Sanders, a Deshaun Jackson, like just one more receiver, I think it pushes us right in. If we get Julio, if we get, I know it's a stretch. I know he's going to win a big contract, and I mean, I think if we could get Julio in this offense, because I mean, Tennessee, that was just a rare year. They didn't have Derrick Henry for most of it. AJ Brown was hit and miss, like
his quarterback was Ryan Tannehill. Let's talk about that too. Julio was injured. But his quarterback was Ryan Tannehill.
And then,
would you actually? This is another thing I'm gonna also put out there. Just a question on the fly. Would you actually there's a difference between not agreeing with the acquisition of a potential Julio Jones, but would you hate the idea?
No, dude, I would love getting Julio. I would, if we got Julio Jones, I would be on the team shop buying a jersey as soon as it hit the market.
I'm Ed. What do you think?
After you're done with buying down with the Browns merchandise, then you
Oh,
hit up the team. Yeah.
Buy your
Yeah,
down
yeah.
with the Browns.
Oh
merchandise.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've already got.
But Ed, would you hate that idea? Would you hate that idea, or would you? What do you think about that?
I would love it. You're
Okay.
telling me you're getting Julio Jones. I'm not paying these people, these GMs on Twitter, all worried about being capologists and stuff like that. I'm worried about, okay, who's on the field and who has better players. You put Julio Jones on the Cleveland Browns, you're better for it. Let's go.
He would attract attention. It's
Yeah.
Julio freaking Jones. I don't like. It's just mind-boggling to me. If he came in here at the right price, talking to those capologists, okay, just to appease the capologists that we have, the Twitter GMs we have for the Cleveland Browns. If he came in at the right price, why not bring in Julio Jones? I don't get it. Talking about injuries, we were all injured last year. The whole freaking team,
Yeah.
wide receiver room was all injured.
Yeah, and I mean, you as soon as you sign Julio, that just makes Amari Cooper's job easier. That makes David Bell's job easier. It makes
Thank you.
DPJ's job easier. I mean, he's as you said, he's going to attract defenses. Because I mean, he's a big dude. What is he? 6'3"?
6'3",
6'3"?
220.
And I mean, who better to model the game for DPJ?
Yes.
Or your boy Isaiah Weston
Isaiah West.
from Northern Iowa.
I mean, I want Julio. I mean, he should have been a Brown anyways. Going back to the draft, he should have been a Cleveland.
Circle
Yeah.
back. He should have been.
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these dudes are like coming back, like Deshaun Watson. We should have took Watson in the draft.
Mhm.
is Andrew Wiggins coming back to the Cavs?
Yeah, for sure. He's coming. He's coming. He's on his way. He's already packed his bags. He's already in Cleveland.
What draft was Andrew Wiggins? Was he with Anthony Bennett when you guys? got
No,
Anthony
he
It
Bennett?
was
was
a
the
year.
after.
Yeah, after.
It was
Yeah,
14.
yeah, okay.
Dang, that's been a long time.
Man, it's been
How
a
do you
minute.
think- No, I feel like Andrew Wiggins should be like 22, but he got drafted in 2014. God, that's 8
Oh.
years.
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Manny.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah. Happy.
Speaking about time flying.
Speaking of
happy
time flies, I'm already 28. This is insane. But it's fun. It's fun. It's a great time. I'm so glad I got to hang out with you guys on my birthday. So it's
Oh, yeah.
to talk some football, something I love to do. So
The Browns.
the Browns, getting down with the Browns is always a good time.
Yes, sir. And I think this is a great spot to end the episode. You guys feel that too?
I agree.
And we want to wish our boy Manny Maxwell a very, very happy birthday. And go
Love baseball.
Browns.
Go Browns!
Go Browns. Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo.